Welcome to Creators Corner, a Charlevoix Circle of Arts YouTube series where we highlight a new Michigan-based artist every second Monday of the month. Hello, I am Ebony Amber, your host of Creators Corner here at Charlevoix Circle of Arts, and today our special guest is Wendy McWhorter. Thank you for coming and doing this interview with us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wendy is a painter and a collage artist who has participated in the Charlevoix Circle of Arts Summer Salon show since 2020. She's also participated in the wet paint event, and Wendy has work available right here at the Gallery Gift Shop. So, Wendy, I believe you are a Michigan native, right?
Yes, I am.
But how long have you been in the northern part of Michigan?
I actually first came up to this area in 1973. I went to community college at Northwestern Michigan College in Traverse City. So that was my first time here. And then after I graduated from college, I left the area and I went downstate. I went a very circular route of different colleges, but I came back then after I retired. I taught public school in the Lansing School District in Lansing, Michigan, K-12 art. And so my plan was to come back up here and paint because I love it up here, and everywhere I look there's lots to paint. So in 2013, my husband and I, we moved up here, and we were only here for 2 years because my husband, he wanted to see what it was like to live in Florida, so we went there, but I didn't care for it. I mean, I found lots of places to paint, but I didn't really care for it, and we had our first grandchild, and so we were coming back to the Midwest a lot. So we moved back to this area in 2019. So I've been in the Keewaydin area, which is north of Elk Rapids, for the last 4 years.
Wow, very, very cool. And have you always been creative, or is that something that evolved with you over time?
I have always been interested in art. My grandmother on my father's side was an art teacher, and she always encouraged me. And when I was 8 years old, I started going to the Flint Institute of Art and taking Saturday art classes. And it's an amazing museum. There's a John Singer Sargent there that the first time I saw it, I was just so amazed by it. And being able to take art in a museum, see masterwork was, integral to my growth as an artist. Seeing the masters and being around that, and then learning from excellent teachers. So at age 8, I started taking classes, and I have always pursued learning different kinds of art. When I went to college, I did printmaking, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. And so I went to Indiana University, and I studied that. And I also got into textile dyeing and design. I was intrigued by that. And then I just decided, how am I going to make a living? I'm not...
Every artist's question, right?
Right. I don't have the motivation, I think, to do what it needs to be done. So I I went back to school and got a degree in art education. And so I taught for almost 30 years. And then I really dove deep into landscape painting. While I was working on my Master's of Art Ed, I took a class up on Old Mission, and we did plein air painting for a week. And I fell in love with that, and I just went with that. In the beginning, I was doing acrylics and watercolor, and then about, probably 8 years ago, I got into oils, and that's what I paint with, and I love oils.
Okay, and your paintings are very serene. They almost transport you to a simpler time, this like farm landscape. What about that inspires you?
Well, the show that I had, my solo show this summer out at Glen Arbor at Lake Street Studios, was based on the theme Lost and Found landscapes. And what I did is I spent a concentrated amount of time painting all the homesteads and farms in Port Oneida. It's the largest preserved rural agricultural historic place in the United States. A group of private citizens has partnered with Sleeping Bear National Lakeshore, the federal government, to restore all these homesteads. So what I did was I imagined what these homesteads and farms looked like 100 years ago when the immigrants came over here from Norway, from Bohemia, what they planted. So my paintings focused on what kind of flowers were planted then. And one of my paintings, Forgotten Coneflowers, was selected as the poster for the Port Oneida Fair this year.
Awesome.
For the 2023, yes.
Awesome.
So that was very exciting. So I put together all these paintings and I had them in a show there. And a lot of people really connected with it. And I sold almost all of those in that series.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you weren't looking at a particular scene. This came out of your mind. You had to sort of transport yourself.
Well, I painted the structures.
Okay.
The vernacular architecture that's out there. For example, the Treat farmhouse, I painted that. But what I did is I removed some of the trees that are there now that weren't there 100 years ago. So you actually see a vista of Lake Michigan. And I also put in flowers as the homemaker or the farmer, whoever might have lived there, would have put in. And I did that with several places.
Okay. And are most of your paintings Michigan locations?
Yes. I have found, when I go on vacation, I take watercolor and I take gouache and I paint those. But my heart is really painting what is up here.
There's so much. It's so beautiful.
Right. What I paint on vacation, I paint for myself. It's kind of like my scrapbook, my paintings. Although I'm very intrigued with islands. So I have a collection of paintings I've painted of Kauai. I went there. Monhegan Island. Of course, I've been to Mackinac Island. I did a series of paintings of Beaver Island for a family. So besides, being on land, I do like to go to islands and paint. And this past spring, I was on a schooner and we went to Eleuthera. And so I painted scenes there.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. And most of your paintings are just so colorful and lush and beautiful. Do you ever paint snow?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do paint snow. I love how light bounces off of the white and all the different shades.
It can be very colorful,
yes.
Right?
Oh, very colorful. All the different shades of lavender and blues and sometimes just amazing, like warm colors. So yes, I do paint. I find that a lot of people aren't interested in winter paintings, but in the winter, I'll look out my window, my studio, and a couple winters ago, I just saw this amazing abstraction and painted that, and that sold, so that was great.
Well, there's plenty of that to enjoy around here. The
yes,
snow
there is.
And snow-covered, trees. I think it's beautiful. I really love that. And I'm glad that you see those colors and pick those up. It's not just white. It's a whole bunch of colors.
And I like to snowshoe. So when I snowshoe, I have my iPhone with me, and I'll take photographs and I'll come back and, I'll paint those. And I always send a holiday card out, and it's always a winter scene.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when I was checking out your website, which is beautiful, I saw your collage piece, Blue Vase, which
yes.
I just love. I
Oh,
think it's
thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
When you are creating a piece like that, is that also coming out of your imagination? Are you looking at the actual vase with the flowers?
Well, the reason why I did that is winter and spring, I'm a teaching artist with Northwest Ed through a program called Arts for All, Northern Michigan. And through a program they have called Art Escapes, I go into the Life Skills Center in Traverse City, and I worked with physically and intellectually disabled adults, and we paint a lot of our own paper, and we cut and we tear and we collage.
Oh, I love that.
And so I was putting together examples, and so I made that to show them.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. And do you have a discipline, or do you just create when it inspires you? I know you're a teacher, so you have to have a discipline for that. But when it comes to your own creative inspiration, is it something where you have a particular, this is the time of day that I do it, and or is it more free?
Usually I'm in my studio by 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm either painting or I am doing research, or I am sketching and planning what I want to do next. And my studio is my happy place. I finally have a studio. When we moved back in 4 years, we created a space in our lower level. So I actually have a walkout and a gallery space in it, although most of it is taken up by my painting. But people can walk into my studio without coming into my house. So it's very
great.
Convenient. Yes.
That is great.
And I'm on what's called the Art Trails of Antrim County. That was something that the Antrim County Foundation out of Bel Air put together this last year. So that's nice. So all the artists that are there, and that's just south of Charlevoix County, Antrim County, where I live.
Very cool. And it sounds like you have a very inspiring place to paint, but do you ever come up to a block where you just don't know what to do next? Or do you always have something in the back of your mind that you want to get out and paint?
Not really a block of what I want to paint, but sometimes I think that maybe I should try different color choices, just to get myself out of the blues and the greens and the lilacs, which I like. So
and check out my dress that I wore just for
exactly,
you. Because
yes,
these are the beautiful colors that Wendy uses.
Yeah, I'm not really a red person, but every once in a while I'll experiment with red just to to work with it. But I mean, I don't really have a block. Just I like to challenge myself to try different things, and collage is one of those things which I can use in my teaching too. So
yeah. And who would you say are your artistic influences?
Well, I really love the work of Wolf Kahn. Ever since I first read about him, and I was driving through Vermont several years ago, and I realized that this is where he paints, and I went into a gallery and saw his work, and I asked them, where are these places, and I drove around, and it was just very inspiring to actually see the vistas that he painted. Fairfield Porter, I admire his work very much, how he works with shapes, and I like the work of several artists that you might not even have heard of. One of them is an artist that grew up on the west side of Lansing, Grand Rapids. Tunis Ponzin is his name, and I saw his work because after he died, he had a relative that found all of his paintings and contacted a gallery in East Lansing to show them. And so I was very intrigued by another Michigan artist. So I really like that.
Peggy Hawley is another local artist from Frankfort, Michigan that Wendy admires. Not only does Wendy appreciate Peggy's painting style, she also considers her a great teacher. Peggy finds all kinds of artistic inspiration here in Michigan because she loves the blue waters and experiencing Michigan's many different seasons. And what does Wendy like to do when Wendy isn't painting for
Well,
fun?
I like to kayak. And I swim as much as I can. I lap swim here in the Charlevoix pool. I like to travel. I like to, I just started writing poetry. With the theme that I did last year, or for this summer show, Lost and Found Landscapes, I started writing a lot of poetry that had to do with each painting. So that's something new that I started this year. And I like to read. I read a lot.
Yes, reading is good. And I wonder, have you ever been to France?
Yes, I have.
Because I feel like I get a little bit of that in your paintings. Even if they're from Michigan, I feel like I get a little bit of that flavor.
Yes. In 1999, I went on my first trip to France, and actually my whole family went, and my daughter and I went to Giverny, to Monet's garden and his home, and that was amazing. That was just so inspiring to see the garden that he put together, and his home that had his palette laid out, and the whole environment. And I love going to artist home. 5 years ago, I went to Joaquin Sorolla's home in Madrid, and they actually have huge canvases of his artwork there, and that was very, very stimulating. So I've been to many of the museums in France. I spent 2 weeks in a small village about 2 hours north of Toulouse, and I took a watercolor class. This was 12 or 13 years ago. And we lived in the artist's, she had several homes. We lived in one of her homes.
Cool.
And so in the morning, I could see the farmer getting his cattle ready to go out into the field. And I was able to do quick sketches and then watercolors of that. And so
that's lovely.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and if anybody would like to know more about Wendy, they can check the description box down below. But we hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Be sure to check out Wendy's upcoming show entitled Bloom, opening April 19th. Thanks again for watching Charlevoix Circle of Arts Creators Corner. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell down below to be notified of our next video premiere. These are 2 easy ways to show Michigan artists just how much we appreciate their contribution to our beautiful state.